Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Have you ever wondered why so many aspiring creators seem to just hit an absolute brick wall on YouTube, while a tiny fraction just skyrocket to massive success? Well, today, I'm talking directly to you. We're setting the stage to uncover the hidden truth of the platform, and we're laying out a complete, no-nonsense survival guide for creators. We're going to decode the realities, entirely debunk the myths, and show you exactly what separates the winners from, well, everyone else.
155 million. I just want to let that staggering number hang in the air for a second. That is the total number of channels fighting for attention on YouTube right now. It is a massive, incredibly crowded ocean.
Okay, let's dive into this, because here is the brutal reality. Out of those 155 million channels, a massive 90% will never even hit the basic foundational milestone of 1,000 subscribers. 9 out of 10 people fall short at the very first hurdle. And it actually gets a bit wilder. When we look closer and break down these numbers even further, only 6% of all channels ever achieve monetization. That means only 6 out of every 100 creators are actually making a single dime from their content. Look, I know the journey can seem incredibly daunting when you just look at the raw data. But hey, don't let the data demotivate you, because today we actually have a roadmap. This explainer covers a 6-part survival strategy. We're going to cover the brutal reality, the expectation trap, surviving bad advice, the 1% mindset, creator strategy, and finally, the rules of execution.
So, let's start right at the beginning with part 1, the brutal YouTube reality.
The absolute most important thing to remember here is that the algorithm treats everyone exactly the same when you're sitting at 0 subscribers. But getting to the top? Man, that is a steep climb. Less than 0.05% of channels hit 1 million subscribers. To be that 1 in 1,000, you simply cannot follow the herd. And that brings us right to part 2, the expectation trap. This right here, this is the biggest killer of YouTube dreams, the complete illusion of easy money. We all see the expectation, right? Just record something on your phone, go viral, get rich fast. But the gritty reality? It involves intense research, really complex editing, and agonizingly long waits for any kind of payout. When that harsh reality crashes into those easy expectations, that's exactly when creators abandon ship. Which leads us perfectly into part 3, surviving bad advice. Because think about it, what happens when you aren't growing? You fall into a super dangerous loop. You start endlessly binging how to grow videos. And sure, it feels like progress, but it's a trap, especially with fake gurus. You really have to watch out for massive red flags. I'm talking about promises of overnight wealth, terrible advice telling you to buy views, or, my absolute personal favorite, the secret magical algorithm toggle hidden in your settings that will supposedly make you incredibly famous by next Tuesday. It's totally absurd, but it catches people every single day. Now, we all know production is super difficult. But there are legitimate ways to get help, which actually brings me to the sponsor for this explainer, InVideo AI version 3.0. This is a genuinely powerful text-to-video solution that helps you overcome those massive production hurdles. The workflow is just incredibly simple. Prompt, generate, edit, and export. You literally just type a text prompt, and their generative AI builds a full, ready-to-publish video. It even comes complete with voice cloning and translation into over 50 languages. It saves you hundreds of dollars and hours of agonizing editing. All right, let's shift away from the traps and move into the solution phase with part 4, the 1% mindset. If you want to survive, you have to aim to improve by just 1% every single time you upload. You have to completely destroy the myth of overnight success. Take Sacklin Khan, for example. He's sitting on over 400,000 subscribers on what looks like a brand new channel. But what people don't see? They don't see the mountain of hidden effort. Sacklin actually built his presence and his editing skills by grinding out over 500 videos on an older failed channel. That experience is your only true path to mastery. So, how do you gain that experience smartly? Let's take a look at part 5, the creator strategy playbook. So, the crucial point here is that you've got to drop that beginner obsession with trying to be 100% uniquely original on day 1. Instead, as the famous saying goes, steal like an artist. Being completely unique is incredibly risky when you don't have any data to back it up. Instead, you want to analyze the formats, the pacing, and the topics that are already working in your niche. Build on those proven elements, and then, and only then, add your unique selling point. Maybe that's your personality or even a brand mascot.
And finally, we reach part 6, the rules of execution. This is where the rubber literally meets the road, the 80-20 rule. You might spend hours on intense, crazy editing, but 20% of your effort actually drives 80% of your results. You need to obsess over the packaging. I'm talking about your core idea, your title, the thumbnail, and the hook in those vital first 30 seconds. Because honestly, if those fail, no one is ever going to see that beautiful editing anyway.
But wait, what happens if you do all of that perfectly and you still aren't growing? Well, that brings us to rule number 9, the niche pivot checklist. Sometimes you're doing absolutely everything right, but your specific niche is the thing holding you back. Maybe the competition is just simply too high, making it literally impossible to stand out. Maybe your potential audience size is so small that your views are permanently capped. Or maybe you just have better skills suited for a completely different topic. Recognizing this and changing your niche can unlock sudden growth. It gives you a totally fresh perspective, and honestly, it keeps content creation incredibly fun.
So, we've unpacked the data, we've debunked the myths, and we've laid out the exact strategies used by the most successful creators on the platform. The roadmap is perfectly clear. So I want to leave you with this one question. Will you be the 99% who fall into the expectation trap and just quit? Or will you be the 1% who adapt, improve, and execute? Do not just score to the next distraction. Take this guide and start building. See you next time.